Just stop moving, bud. All right. Let's go, internet. And the funnest thing is, even before this thing says we're live and Instagram says we're live, we're actually live.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's
sweet,
super convenient.
Yeah,
super awesome.
you just don't get to know.
Okay, live there. We got to wait for the other feeds to line up here. We got to do some fly maintenance here. People are populating. Hold tight, everybody. Logan. Oh, familiar name? Okay, there we go.
And Jack.
Oh, man. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Nick Slavik. I'm the proprietor of the Nick Slavik Painting and Restoration Company, also the host of this show, Ask a Painter Live. It is a weekly live YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram show where we talk about life of a master craftsperson and paint business entrepreneurship. And guest today, my friend Mason, my marketing apprentice. I got some housekeeping to do first, and then we're going to get into it. We had coordinator Jack on last week, and we have you on this week because you guys are going back to college. And we will continue to work together, but you're taking computers, stand-up desks, and everything else back to your house in the wilderness of northern Minnesota working. And I won't see you guys for another months, give or take. You'll probably come back for the holidays. Yep. But so I figured I'd get these guys on film quick before we do this. Now, we are fastly approaching the PCA event tour in the fall here. We have PCA in Espanol, our Spanish-speaking conference, Women in Paint, obviously the women-led conference. We have residential and commercial in quick succession all over Nashville, San Antonio, San Diego, all over the place. So all those links are in the show notes here. I believe room blocks, discounts are still open. You're going to want to take advantage of these because I booked a hotel room and they first did not book me under the room block and it was twice as expensive. So you want to get in on the room blocks. There's discount codes. There's everything else, links for registration. It'd be great to see you guys there in the fall when we do all this stuff. Also, we'll be taking any of your questions, comments on Facebook, on Instagram, any of that other stuff here. Let's see here. We are broadcasting in widescreen format today. Instagram doesn't show that you guys can see us, but last week it worked out. So we're just going to roll the dice and hope that everybody can see us. And if not, I'm sure it's something you can fix in post. It's probably not a big deal, right?
Yep.
Okay. Links to everything in there. Let's get on with this. So Mason, first off, how did your life and my life become intertwined? When did you first hear about me? How did we start working together?
Yeah. So I was looking on Instagram for my college roommate who ended up being Jack.
Coordinator Jack.
Yep. Coordinator Jack. I made that connection. We clicked right away. And then pretty soon after we moved in, it was like, whoa, this guy has 3 screens for his computer. What does he do?
Oh, yeah, because I set Jack up with a 3-monitor setup, one of our famous 3-monitor setups into his dorm room. And he's like a hacker then, right?
Yep. Well, he sent me a text about a month before we started school. He's like, hey, I'm going to be on the phone all the time. Is that all right with you? I was like, well, I don't have a choice now, but yeah.
No. And context to that is obviously he has one-on-one meetings with me. We conference often. But he's also the coordinator for a $3 million paint company, which means all the emails, website inquiries, and phone calls funnel into him. And if he goes to college in a dorm room, those calls follow him.
Yep.
So you're getting our wonderful clients calling up, and you probably had a lot of that in the background of your life there. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, somewhere soon after college, I knew Nick Slavik existed.
Yep.
Didn't know much about it. I knew it was a painting company. I don't even know, sometime in the winter, then you guys had your one-on-ones and I was kind of listening in, and Jack had brought me up and that I was a marketing student and I had done a lot of graphic design in the past.
Yep.
And you pretty much just gave me an opportunity with some Ask a Painter stuff and kind of took off from there.
Yeah. So what was that first opportunity? What was that? I always like to do a little test to see how people are. What was the first test we gave you?
Yeah. So the first test was going through the archive of every Ask a Painter episode and then organizing them in a Google Sheet and uploading them into a Google Drive.
Monstrous amounts of work. So there is 9 years going on 10 years of shows out there. We're on show 479, 480. There's almost 500 shows for you to have to go through and do this. And you can imagine 8-9 years ago, I wasn't as professional or consistent with a lot of this stuff. So sometimes things got broadcasted here, some were here, some were labeled, some were not. And so you created a Google Drive. You then cataloged all those shows. You downloaded every one of them and put them there. Main impetus for this was this coincided with Facebook sending me an email saying all live videos are going to be deleted this summer, like right now. They actually just extended the deadline. And so all of a sudden I was like, oh, interesting. Almost everything I've ever done for this industry is live on the internet. So if it doesn't live natively somewhere else, all this could be wiped out. Now, there's a smattering of shows on YouTube, and they've been randomly uploaded everywhere. Some made it to Instagram, but there is not a single source of truth for any of this stuff, and it's not organized very well. It's just out there in the world. So you went through over almost a decade of social media, and you did all this stuff. And when you started populating that spreadsheet, we have it all. It's like a card catalog now. It's just awesome. Where it's like show, the subject, the dates, the this and that. I was surprised how compliant I was. Like we found all the shows except 3.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm actually working with the Painting Contractors Association because I used to broadcast through and with them. We're actually digging through all of their servers and computers to see if we can find it. So honestly, 9-10 years of broadcasting and only 3 shows we can't find. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And I think I only misnumbered 2 or 3. Like I know I probably duplicated.
There were a few, and one of them was like show 10 or something. So it was right away, but
magically, yeah. So, but it was really interesting going back. And now that the archive is there, I was actually watching back on some of those early shows, and it's really interesting to see the arc of Ask a Painter and all that. But what a fun project to start off with. And there was some utility there. It helped out. I certainly didn't have the bandwidth to go back and find 500 shows. So that was pretty good. And now just throwing them in an archive is fine, but we're kind of entering into phase 2 of that, which is...
Yeah, now we're completing a full Spotify upload of all these episodes and working on some mastering the basics stuff as well.
Yeah, so we're still like, there's a little bit of gray area where we try to figure out like, there's this whole new interaction between all these sites. The benefit is I've done video with audio for all those years because video is a very popular thing now. I mean, you can see all these podcasts going to YouTube and stuff, and they get more views on YouTube than they do on Spotify with audio. So luckily, I have this monstrous archive of all this stuff, and we're trying to figure out like what to do with it. And so now you're working on, because Spotify is blue ocean for us. I didn't have anything uploaded to Spotify. I did a test show on there. We uploaded. That's where I listen to all my podcasts. And so now we're using Spotify as our first thing of like creating it from nothing. What does this archive look like? And now there's potential for paywall and all this other stuff. And we're trying to figure out like, how do we best use this for the good of the industry? How do we get this to people? How do we organize it? How do we do other things? And so initially we're working on, Mastering the Basics is the most popular series of shows I do every year. We are going to do something very special with that, especially for this winter. It's going to be, the biggest, the best, the most interesting thing we've ever done. Interesting things coming with that, new templates. But other than that, we're just trying to figure out how all this works. Then we go along the monstrous effort of now, what does Facebook look like? What does Instagram look like? I mean, my Lord, what does YouTube look like? Because we have, I've had 12 years of broadcasting and posting random things in a very unorganized way. So we're kind of taking a decade of social media and we're taking that thing and Etch-a-Sketch and shaking it and trying to say, we've iterated a lot over the years. Now what happens? So I think it'll be fun. And in your research, you have been doing a lot of research on a lot of stuff within that. So detail some of that.
I mean, so far what I've found is Spotify is growing like crazy.
Yep.
YouTube's doing the same.
Yep.
And like they're almost taking over the Apple Podcasts and like Facebook.
Yep.
And so moving to those platforms, as far as we know right now, seems like it's going to be the right decision.
Right decision. And also you've gone as deep as like, what does a show post look like?
Yeah.
Like what do the best shows do? What do they include? What do they not include? What's the voice? What's the phrasing? How do they archive things? Links, no link, all that kind of stuff. So what's really interesting is I once in a while when I listen to podcasts that intersect with this stuff, I send you little anecdotes from it or I send you links to it. And it is very clear now that sometime over the last 3 years, Spotify, YouTube, certainly YouTube has overtaken broadcast and cable television, subscribing stuff by far. So everybody your age and younger gets most of their news and other consumption through YouTube and TikTok.
Yeah.
And so everything is moving that way. We've even seen the algorithm with Meta change because we feel like Meta's chasing TikTok. And so they're rewarding certain things that they didn't before. And you and I have seen some of my analytics go, when you think about 30-second or less videos, like something's happened recently. And so it's been really fun to like interact with this algorithm. And I think what's unique is that we have almost a decade of content to do something with. We're not starting a brand new bootstrap show or something and trying to get an audience. So impressions of the company when you first interacted with it. I assume you've not been a working professional within a trades company before.
Nope. Yeah.
What was your impression of the trades, and what is your impression of the trades now? Is it any different?
So I think going through the Ask a Painter archive actually gave me a great background on you and what this company is, because I watched 25 seconds of every one of those episodes. And so like kind of just to see like the quality even of the episodes evolve over time and then to where they are now.
Yeah.
And the topics you were talking about and who you were with and all those things. So I feel like my impression of what this was going to be really developed like through the winter. Because right away I had no idea what to expect.
Yep.
And then before I had come into office in the spring, like I think I kind of knew what was like this whole thing going to look like.
Yeah, I think you had a pretty good impression, and you pick up things very quickly. And one of the things that I appreciated very early on was like, I'm an influencer in a weird niche world. There's all this crap laying out on the internet. Hey, just do something with it. And you did. Mm-hmm. And you didn't need a lot of hand holding. You didn't have any questions. You just seem to navigate your way through this stuff really well. And it's a weird thing because if I put an ad out and said, I need somebody who's experienced with live social media stuff and influencers and the archiving, that doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you and I are both kind of in this area where we're just kind of exploring this world together, and especially within this weird little niche. And I'm glad you got to, you probably got a better flavor about who I am and what we do, probably better than most painters, because most painters have not consumed 25 seconds of 500 shows ever. So was there anything that surprised you? Was there anything that you did not expect but you experienced?
Honestly, the office was a lot nicer than I was expecting it to be. Like, I don't know, that for some reason when I walked in there, I was like, oh, this is a pretty nice place. Like, it's really bright and clean and well kept. So
it's fun. Lots of good people in there. That also helps too. So
everyone's in the same space.
And initially we had you try some social media stuff because it was pretty easy. I can firewall my painting company. We didn't have to make you an employee. We did some contract work. This is Ask a Painter. This is a completely separate thing. Mm-hmm. But we started incorporating you into the painting company. How did we first start doing that?
Gosh, that felt like so long ago now.
I know, right? Yeah.
Right away with the painting company was street team stuff.
Yeah.
So in the spring, Jack and I had come up with the idea for door hangers with the street team based off of some testing you guys had done in the fall.
Yep. You guys wanted to, I can't remember if you guys overtly said you want to own something and manage something. If you didn't overtly say it, that's my impression that I got from you guys.
I'm sure Jack was saying it.
Yeah. Jack's hungry.
Yeah, I think I was just listening to one of your one-on-ones and all of a sudden it was like, why don't we do this instead? Toss it out to Jack after you guys got off your meeting and he was like, let's do it. So
you guys either overtly or not overtly, I got the impression that you guys really wanted to not just like sweep up the shop, make some social media ads. Like you guys really wanted to like create something and own something within there. And what a great little like testing ground where you have me we've done a whole bunch of marketing tests. We have a baseline of data. We have an entrepreneurial sandbox that we can play around in. And we have like this open and honest feedback system too of things that work and don't work. And so initially you guys wanted to do street team was the easiest thing because I wasn't going to start up another business and painting unit because then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that comes with that. The easiest thing was we did some tests and we knew that marketing was a big thing. And we wanted to try some new forms of marketing. And one was being more aggressive and full ownership. So obviously we can feed money into Google Ads. You know my feeling about all of that. This algorithmic black box. I'm a fan of things that we control wholly, and you literally cannot control it more than this, where you guys are literally like, well, I'll let you describe the system, but like describe to people, people have endless questions about this street team. Mm-hmm. Give them the highlights and the headlines of our street team that you guys came up with.
Yeah. So street team, We're just putting out a simple door hanger with our logo, information, and a really nice picture on the front. And then on the back, we have some of our referrals. So it's not only helping us, but it helps some of like our closest friends in the industry.
Yep. Our carpenters, our designers, and people that give us a ton of work, we want to reciprocate to them too.
Exactly.
And that was a organic idea from you guys, which is amazing.
Yeah, so we have that. And then basically the way the street team works is every day, Jack and I, one of us will color a map in whatever city we're going to be in that day and give our team a pretty simple plan with a bunch of zones.
Yep.
And our team goes out there with their scooters every day, and they are allowed to pick their route, whichever way they want to go through that zone. And throughout the summer, we actually saw an increase in their production rates because you could tell they were figuring out their routes and they didn't have to look at their phone as much to figure out where they were going to go. So
and that was really fun because we started out on foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we kind of felt, I don't know why we didn't start off with scooters. It was probably just one of those things we were moving so fast and there was so much other stuff to do. We probably didn't do it. But I think all of us agreed that eventually scooters was an eventuality.
Yeah.
Don't know why we didn't do it at the start, but we quickly, within a week or two, we got scooters.
Yeah.
And even within that, we had the first scooter we tried. What was our impression of that whole thing?
Yeah. So the first scooter we tried could only go about 2 miles an hour up any hill, and it would be dead by lunchtime every day.
So it didn't even make it a full. I mean, literally, we're not working 10-hour days. These guys are working 5-6 hour days, right? And so this wasn't even like this big thing. The scooters weren't even lasting all day, And so again, quick iteration. We were looking on the internet. We found the next version. We're like, okay, if this one is that, what's the XL version? Something like that. So we quickly iterated to that. Got a bunch of scooters, and because I get more questions about scooters than anything else, give us the entire. What did we learn? What was good? What was bad?
Okay, so I think we have 7 scooters now.
Yeah.
7 of the new ones.
We'll figure out when we clean the shop out this winter.
Something like that, right? And I've probably replaced somewhere near 6 tires in those scooters. We've had 4 handlebars completely just break, like all the electronics in it.
Yep.
And it's no fault of our street team. The scooters just can't handle the miles we're putting on them, apparently.
We're just hammering. And how many miles have we put on this summer?
1,600 miles this summer.
1,600 plus. I think we got the update a couple weeks ago, and they've still been hammering. Yeah. So if it was 1,800 this summer, those are humans, 1,600 to 1,800 miles through 5 cities here, and that's incredible. So we use that. We use those scooters. We are super users of those things,
definitely.
For sure. So I remember you guys. You're replacing the belts that drive them. Did you have to replace, or there was a belt repair or something?
Batteries we replaced.
Batteries, yep.
Handlebars.
Handlebars for sure, yep.
Brakes and tires.
Tires.
Pretty much everything except for the frame.
Yeah. Frames were still there. We're still good with that stuff. Is there, because the ethos of this company, and one of the things that I love working with you and Jack is not problem solution, because there's always just an endless supply of something happened. What's a solution? You never learn how to solve. You never learn how to stop the problems from showing up. Mm-hmm. So one of the things we always think about is like, we use the Google of things, because Google's not going to go away and it's going to constantly iterate. So we found a scooter company that felt omnipresent, that felt that they sell a lot. We ended up using, what is it? Highboy.
Yep.
Would you make a different decision if we had to start over?
Yeah, I would.
And how would you make? So we went with like big omnipresent, the Walmart, the Google of scooters. What different decision would you make if we had to redo it?
I don't know what brand I would choose yet. I would try to stick with another big brand, because what was really good about Highboy is that I could just tell them our handlebars broke and they would send us a new one for free. It just took a week and a half to get here.
Yep.
So that means you're a week and a half with somebody on foot instead of on a scooter.
Yeah. And thus we accumulated 7 for a street team of 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just, but it's funny. There's like scooter parts and chargers, and there's like a little scooter garage downstairs where all the scooters are. Like, it's been a really fun thing to sort of like, to interact with. So that is the big question then, which is like, if you're using the Google of scooters and those even aren't perfect, will we get a different result? And it's that sort of like, well, if you get 7 new scooters from another company, it might be worse.
Yeah.
Like, you never know.
You don't know.
And certainly, we put them through their paces. So if anybody knows these things work, we do. Lots of interesting things early on. When we first started in our first week or two, what was your first impressions of what was happening with the street team? what surprised you? What did we have to change? What initial thoughts versus now? Because it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah. So right away, I was actually out on the street with the team for the first couple of weeks.
Which was something I made you guys do,
Yes.
which is, listen, you're not going to stand in this office and do this. In order to manage these humans and understand what's going on, you got to do it, and you got to do it with them. After that, do that, command and control. So go ahead.
Yeah. So right away, I was super surprised by how many people we saw out there.
Human interactions through the roof.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And there's just all these humans standing around at their houses in the middle, not just inside their houses, just like out and about.
Yeah, just run into them while they're watering the grass or something.
Yeah.
And then also surprised by how happy people were to see us.
Yeah.
Like the amount of people that were like, oh, thank you for coming up with this. And I was expecting to get chased off people's lawns every other house I went to.
100%. And one of the things that when we created the SOP, we workshopped this for a while. We actually had like 5 or 6 potential conversations. I was preparing for negative. And most of them are skewed towards like empathy and reaction. And it turns out like we were way more defensive than we needed to be. Turns out a lot of people are just like, you either get a no soliciting sign or a super happy person. And I think there was only, I prepared for a litany of horrible phone calls because that's just how humans are. You stand in their yard and people take offense to that. That's their safe place. I've been talking with Jack. I think we've only got one person who contacted the company and was actually like, just an irrational human being, not connected to our own reality. And I thought we were going to get a lot more, if I'm being honest. So that was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
What else? How about the people side of it? You guys recruited people you knew, right? And how did that process go? How did you determine who to do? I mean, tell me about the human side of this management.
Yeah, so we were sitting in our dorm room, and you had tasked Jack with, I need 5 people by the end of this week. And Jack's like, I don't know anybody who can work right now. And so we just started calling everybody, and then it turns out, oh, actually, this guy can work for us for 20 hours a week or whatever. And like I texted my group chat of friends from high school and got 2 guys that are wanting to work, and we're excited to come and help out. So.
And this was an interesting experience for me because I own a few things. I'm the operations manager. I was only marketing. Now I'm the marketing manager of you and recruiting. And in the history of this company, nobody else has ever recruited another human, onboarded them, and then managed them. So this is new in so many ways. And so, you guys had this interaction of, when you said we had to find 5 guys to work this week, this was a pretty well orchestrated, planned out thing. We workshopped this spreadsheet with all our projections, the stuff knowns and unknowns and this and that. And when it finally came down to it, our spreadsheet told us to do that, which is pretty cool. And so we were making projections about how many flyers we had to put out. We had baselines of production rates from Jack. And then we went through that beautiful exercise of, Jack can do 78 an hour. And we had just a random person do it, and it was 41. And then we went through that wonderful thing of whose number, and that's the part of management that is really cool to me because there's not an answer. Well, Jack initially is like, let's just go with 78. My number. It's like, don't go with that. That's like putting my painting production rates on the entire company. It's like, I've been doing this for 30 years, right? Jack's super motivated. He owns this. Like, you got to temper that. So that was a great relationship. And actually our projections weren't that far off. I think we had a 43 and we had a 78. What did we put it at hangers per hour, give or take? Do you remember?
I think we set the goal at 48 point something. We ended up being like 49 or something like that. It was pretty close.
Pretty good. And this takes into account the weather, the no soliciting, the week and a half on foot before we got screwed. And so we were actually very good. And I love this process of like, this is where entrepreneurs and managers make their money, which is like you have conflicting data points or bad data. Something you still have to make a determination. And if we went out and we just said, let's just hire 8 people instead of that would have hurt this effort. Like it would have been too some things might have moved too fast. It may have been unmanageable. So I will say this, praise to you guys, which is, I was there to sort of be the Yoda in there and say, you have 2 data points. Why don't we aim right around here somewhere? And I was there to guide, but you guys did everything else. And your projections were pretty damn close. other human side of it, was there any surprises? How did the daily management go of the actual humans then?
Yeah, daily management was really easy.
Yeah.
I think our team was really independent. Like
You had great people.
Yeah, exactly. That helped so much. You could send out, like, we'd have people go out on a Friday and we wouldn't even give them a plan. It's like, you're in Lakeville today.
Yep.
And they'd be like, okay, I know what to do.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, they text us what they did, and like, there's no issue. It was super simple and efficient.
We had that's testament to a good system, good managers, and recruiting good humans. That makes up for a lot of, I'm standing here, what do you want me to do now?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, like I'm halfway in the middle. I can't tell you turn right or left, but you got a plan, just go hang these door. The efficiency could be rampant if you recruit the wrong human. So I think that was a great example of that sort of thing. I actually wish you guys would have had a real horrible hire just to experience that. But the problem is you got a great bunch of friends and you guys did a great job of recruiting. So maybe another time we can go through a bad hire sort of thing. But you guys created a Slack channel and you would communicate daily through that. And I really like the feed of information coming through because what did you have them report on instantly or every day?
So it was instant reporting.
Yep.
And they would, every time they had an interaction with a client, they would just toss that in the channel and
just say interaction.
Exactly. Yep. And then every zone that they finished, at the end of the zone, they would count up their door hangers and just let us know how many did they put out and in how much time.
Because they had, God, I'm going to get this flyer. They had, because they would grab some flyers. All right. So they would grab some flyers. They'd tell you how much they grabbed at the end of the zone because you made a Google My Maps where you can shade certain things. Yep. And they just said, we grabbed this many, we delivered this many, and you bundled them in, I think, hundreds maybe.
Yeah, hundreds.
Something like that. And so it was pretty easy. And obviously it's not perfect, but I think we did the minimal amount of effort to the most amount of accuracy that you could possibly do. Because in any other way, I don't know how you would. We're 99% accurate with how many we put out. I don't know how you close the gap on 100 after that. It's basically impossible when we did that many. So do you know the final count of how many we put out?
I believe right now we're at 55,000.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe 54,000.
What was our goal for the summer?
70,000.
Yep. And that was based on our projections. So statistically a large gap, but what do you think led to that gap? Like, what did we see at the start of the summer that led us to believe that we were going to do 70, where we only ended up, I just shouldn't say only, 55,000 is a couple flyers.
Yeah.
Why did we not hit 70? Why did we hit 55?
So I think there's two main reasons.
Yep.
The first one is that the amount of households that we saw in each cities, I think we just overestimated it.
Yep.
Because we estimated 27,000 households in Lakeville.
Yep. And
I think we put out like 15,000 flyers.
Yeah.
And so part of that is that estimation. And then the other part is how many no soliciting signs our team ran into.
We found that early and often, which is, this isn't some random sticker on a door. There would be entire neighborhoods that had a metal sign, a formal metal sign that says no soliciting and things like that. And I actually had a collection of these things. There were so many of every time our street team was out there, they would take a picture of those and post it in Slack. I started throwing them in there because I was like, my God, we probably have 26 of those things now in there. And that really did surprise me. Now, why do you think our projections of households is like, okay, how many people in Lakeville? 35,000
people?
Yeah.
70.
There's 70,000 humans in Lakeville, which is one of the fastest growing communities in the United States. How many households?
Well, if we had 15,000 out, I would guess there's probably like 20,000 households.
Yeah.
When we projected 27,000.
That would probably make sense. Yeah. And how did we come up with the 27? Do you remember how we did that?
I think it was a combination of like census stuff and ChatGPT.
Yeah. So we would kind of bounce back and forth, and, it's obviously the, 2.34 humans per family. Every family has potentially, and we were trying to reason in there, and we were on the high side, but I do agree. A combination of the amount of undeliverable houses was really striking. Well, and also if you minus out apartments, if you minus out business, and it makes perfect sense when you say that. Single family homes in contiguous neighborhoods, because there's the neighborhoods like I live out here where it's literally, you would have to get on a scooter and go for 7 minutes to get to the next house. We were looking for suburban contiguous neighborhoods. And when you minus out apartments, business districts, and no soliciting, I think we lost 30% of houses per community, right?
Yeah.
And so we tracked all the data for this, which is really cool. Street team is done after this next week, right?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. And so we're going to have some random stuff going on, but really the bulk of the team is done this week and next week.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only action items we have left after this are watching the leads and the estimates come through, because these things have long tails. So the bulk of the distribution is done for the most part. And then we're going to be watching that. And we gave you guys a budget. We gave you guys a revenue goal. And we're going to hopefully recapture as much of that as we go on. But you've created a bunch of spreadsheets on my op dashboard. You're updating them now with all that stuff. And of all the data that you've been putting in here, impressions, good, bad, things that surprised you. I mean, what is...
Our lead capture is really good.
Yeah.
It's almost making up 20% of our leads, like the last 3 weeks.
Yep.
But
that's huge, by the way, because we have 8. We kind of have 10 forms of marketing. 6 are paid, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
So to say 20% of the leads come from one effort, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Another surprising thing, I feel like our leads, like turning into actual estimates, that SR is a little bit low compared to everything else. And like, I don't really understand why that is. I think part of it is we're going to them and telling them what our services are rather than them coming to us. So it's, I have one piece of wood that needs to be painted in my house. It's
exactly.
Like, sorry.
We've been postulating on this because we got all this beautiful data, right? Like, you made these graphs that showed visually the success ratio between leads and estimates.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see my beautiful flyers, the ones that I've masterminded over 5 years, that gap is pretty damn small. When somebody contacts us, they're getting an estimate, basically. When you look at, like, I think Meta had a big gap, I think.
Yes.
Like a bigger gap.
Meta was a pretty big gap as well.
And the gap, meaning people would contact us, but there either wasn't a job, they never got back to it, like, less serious.
Mm-hmm.
On the scale of seriousness, it is no doubt flyers is like the serious king. We get serious clients from that. We experience, I feel like the success ratio, the seriousness scale of door hangers was kind of along the line of Meta, give or take.
Yeah, slightly better, but closer to Meta than the flyers for sure.
And we postulated on this forever, and we have this wonderful data to look at. And I think what you just said was right, which is, these aren't clients who sought us out.
Mm-hmm.
We found them.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, if you imagine Jim watering his flowers, and then Audrey, young, awesome Audrey, walks up, "Hey, I'm Audrey. Would you like a paint job?" It's like, let me think for a second.
Yeah.
It's like, well, since you're here, like, do we get free estimates? Yes. Well, I suppose I'll take one of those, And what else did we find out about those types of leads?
The average job size on our door hanger leads is quite a bit smaller.
Yep. And so it's been really interesting. And when you look at all the data right now, if you divorced it from any context, would you call this a good or bad form of marketing?
Right now, I would say bad.
Yes.
Because we're not profitable. Maybe we are, but just slightly. It wouldn't be worth our time and effort.
So right now, are we dancing with break even?
Yeah, I think we're just slightly above it. We got it like 2 weeks ago or something.
By definition, that is a horrible form of marketing. I mean, we on an order of magnitude, we need a 4, 5, 6, 8x on something like this, just to make sure we keep it to 6.75% of revenue, give or take. So now, on its face, I've been getting lots of interactions with people saying, I mean, I talked with Andre this morning, and he's like, "Hey, I've been doing this too. What are your impressions?" Our data matches on par with just about every other professional company that does this, that's interacted with me in the United States. So you could say, like, right now, if you divorce it from any context, how long have you been doing this? All this what other forms of marketing? What is the greater economy doing? You would say, right now, on its face, the data says this isn't a good form of marketing. Mm-hmm. But then you have the benefit of somebody with the wisdom of I do saying, this is the same data I got when I did my flyers in their first year.
Yeah.
Like, the most frustrating thing on earth is spending 5, 10, 20 grand a month in flyers and barely getting any leads out of it. Now you look at my flyers, we'd be dead in the water without flyers. Like, it is our main source of paid leads.
Yes.
And it's also the most serious. It's the most effective. And it seems to bring in a larger so you're a marketing major in college. I have a very interesting relationship with marketing because I can't dance around the black magic of marketing. Like my families will starve if we don't actually get leads from this. Yep. So you can take all this wisdom and put it in and say, well, listen, the economy is changing. We have lots of forms of marketing. We have similar data points for other marketing that is now very effective, but started off ineffective. The wisdom of marketing and good marketers and managers of marketers is now, what do we do with all this information? Is this something we pursue next year? Is it not? Like what in your mind, after we're basically done now, what do we do with all this?
So I think if I were to run my own company right now, and I didn't know you or have any of like your previous experience, I would have shut this thing down 3 months ago.
Yep. Yeah.
But like you, I feel like, are telling us this is what you've had in the past. So my thought is try it one more year.
Yep.
We know we have good people that are going to do this work for us, and we can kind of predict our rates and our production like pretty accurately now.
Yep.
So I think like with all that data, and we don't have to spend as much money on scooters and stuff like that, hopefully next year.
We've already invested. Yeah.
Yeah. It should cut costs a little bit. So I think we would do it next year, but we haven't really had a huge discussion about that yet. So.
No, we haven't. And we're waiting because the benefit is if you have to say gun to the head now, if you do it again, that wouldn't be a good way to do it because these things have a long tail and we need to track this all through winter. The difference is if somebody in December goes to our website and says, yeah, I got a door hanger this August, and it ends up being a $45,000 commercial repaint, that changes our decision wildly. It changes all the data. We can take it as anecdote. We can take it as, hey, it works, but that does change it. So the difference of even if 2 jobs a month all winter come in, that changes a lot of this impetus for what we do. So now you hear me wrestle with this idea a lot of like brand stuff too, because what a professional marketing company will do is like, hey, you didn't get any leads and it's costing you a whole crap load of money, but it's brand recognition. You're getting out there making these things. And it's like, I get you. And I believe that's true, but that's not justification for doing this on its own, right? You need to see constant improvement with these numbers. So that's why on this, the numbers are important, but even what's more important is how the numbers move. What we're looking for is that those graphs you made between here's the graph of leads, here's the graph of estimates. As this goes on, we need to start seeing those tighten up and being more serious. So, I have an unformed thought about this. It was I don't know, as far as marketing goes, it's actually not that much money compared to all the other things we spend money on, but it's a crap load of money. I mean, it is a monster effort. I could have bought my wife a new car, or we could have done this. Like that's it's a big decision. So, things you would, let's quick talk about this one, get to something else. Tracking app. We have a tracking app. Tell us about the tracking app and the process of getting it and using it and learnings.
Yeah. So I had been researching for probably 2 days, just looking for a simple tracking app where we could have everyone on our team run it on their phone and we can see their route and the amount of time it took them. And I struggled finding this thing. And the closest thing I found were more for door-to-door salesmen.
Yep.
And then it was crazy expensive.
Oh, you found some stuff that was like an enterprise resource suite that was $300 per user a month.
Yeah. It was crazy. And then I was telling Nick, like, I can't find anything. He's like, I have a hunting app that can track me around. And so we started using Onyx, which is built for hunting, but it could track your route and you can export that route to Google My Maps. So
and which is again, we got to have that functionality where we can actually so it's all the places that I have my secret turkey hunting spots and all that. And in the end, what we found is that it's cheap, it's easy, it's literally, it couldn't be more user friendly. But one of the best parts is you can download into whatever hell format that thing is, upload it to Google, and your route will then overlay on a Google map. Which is just like the greatest thing on earth. So it's all, Google is just, everything is live. You can manipulate it. You can do this and that. And so that was wonderful. also, what we found out too is that like you guys just contacted Onyx Corporate, and we had to like get bulk. It's like we had to like get the company in there, not just a whole bunch of individual users. So describe that process of getting it set up.
Yeah, so there's something called Onyx Teams, and it's basically a discounted rate if you have more than 5 people in your group or whatever their number is. But with Onyx Teams, you can't just sign up online. You have to go through the company. And so I was going back and forth on emails and calls with some guy from the company, and they made it really easy. Like anytime we added a new employee, I sent them an email. Can you add this email in? No problem. And they were in the next day. So
what's interesting is that I listen to a lot of hunting podcasts, and they sponsor all the major ones like that. And the guys from there are on there. So you're probably talking to a guy that I've listened to on one of these things, but they're all hunters and anglers, and they're all just salt of the earth guys that have, rural backgrounds and stuff like that. So magically there was a great interface, super helpful people. You weren't getting a call center in Indonesia where somebody was tasked with helping this app. Like these are dudes in Montana who are just like helping out, which is amazing. So pretty easy. You turn it on at the start of the day, turn it off at the end of the day. And did you have describe how you got the data from the street team then?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, they would hit export and send it to Jack or I, and that was all they had to do on their end. And Jack and I would import that into my maps.
So what does the product of our My Map look like now at the end?
Yeah, so now our My Maps, we've got, like Lakeville, for example, is like 70 zones. And so in these 70 zones, which are now all green, because they were red to start, green once we completed them, they all have blue tracks overlaying them to show that we've been in those areas.
Yeah. And that's our management. That's our trust but verify.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. And then we're able to zoom in on that and see like, oh, you actually missed a cul-de-sac. And so the next day they're in Lakeville, they drive over there and just knock that out super quick. And it's really nice to keep tabs on everybody.
It's really thorough. And especially when we're sending, my son was a member of the street team too. So nice to have a tracking app just to make sure, because when you go 16 to 1,800 miles through all the neighborhoods here, you could run into a rough part of humanity. But we didn't. It was actually, I prepared, as the leader of this company and somebody who has to pay a lot of money in insurance and look out for the safety of my people, I prepared for a lot of worst case scenarios, and we didn't have any. It was literally like great interactions. Nobody ever, none of our street team ever notified the company and said, hey, something doesn't feel right. I'm not safe. Somebody's following. There's literally like none of that. So I think we picked good cities, good neighborhoods. We're efficient. We're in and out. We're professional. We had everybody in nice, beige uniforms. So it was good. Did I miss anything about street team as we battle these flies here?
No, I think we kind of covered it all.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
The actual door hangers were the easiest things, just coming up with, we want exteriors. So we put a picture of exteriors. We put our partners on the back. The most interesting thing, I went out during the first week when you guys were out there, because just like, practice what you preach. You got to get out there and you got to get a feel for what's going on out there. Because it's like, what? Just send them out there and hang these things on the doors. From doing this long enough, I know that you need to set foot in the field because there's stuff you're not even thinking of. Initially, when you guys went out there, when I forced you guys to deliver door hangers yourselves, you got the first impression. I asked you the series of same questions. Anything surprise you? And you're like, there's a noticeable amount of doors that don't have a hangable door handle. And I was like, oh, shut, come on. There's not a door handle? And they're like, no. On some of these 20-year-old storm doors, it's that latch that goes down and there's no bottom on it and there's not a knob. And I was like, oh, come on, guys. So I went out in the field and I joined you, Jack, my son. And literally, I think a third of the doors that I came into encounter with were like, oh my God, you're right.
Some neighborhoods, it was like every door would be like that.
It's amazing. Yeah. So now we had an SOP for that, which is tuck it under the doormat. What we didn't do was open the storm door, and we didn't want to interact with humans' houses. But again, another great lesson for me, another great lesson for you guys, which is, it's simple. Buy them a scooter, send them out. You got to feel it, because there's many things as a manager that are going to frustrate the hell out of your people, sometimes even cause people to quit. And then all of a sudden, when you get out there, you're like, oh my God. Yeah, we didn't plan for this. We just assumed it was 70,000 houses right in a row where you go 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. Turns out no soliciting signs, no door handles, apartments, and all of a sudden it's like you guys made a lot of quick iterations. So let's talk about things outside of Street Team. Marketing is pretty vast in this company. What other forms of marketing, what channels do you interact with?
Yeah, so a lot of emphasis has been on Meta over the last month and a half. Creating more dynamic ads has been like the overlying goal of the whole thing. And then organic as well, just getting good content out there.
Organic as well. And for anybody who's been to one of my master's classes, like the quadrinity is, your website, your Google listing, your Instagram, and your Facebook. And the cool thing is Instagram and Facebook are Meta. And we apprenticed you under the ads platform and then the organic posting platform where, we can schedule 45 days out of Facebook and Instagram. So we've been working on brand. We've been working on the voice, the tone, the color, so that we can get it consistent. Very common experience for people is when the owner operator controls it all, it's very easy to be consistent. When you teach it to somebody else, I think you got a really good feel for it. Now it's just being consistent with all that stuff. So describe our meta process at a high level.
Meta process is super simple, like everything else. Every week on Mondays, I plan out for the next week in advance is my system right now. The goal is to get to a month in advance and
we're slowly extending out how far you're planning.
But going through, I have an archive of images, edit those images, pretty simple, bright and warm.
Like surprise.
Same thing every single time. And then putting that image in with a caption that has an emoji maybe. And something short, sweet, gets to the point.
And the strategy, like a through line through everything, was we made a big bet on many things. I won't go over because I go over it all the time here, but local, present, and authoritative. And so we want to let people know that I have been in these communities my entire life. This company's been around for almost 18 years in your houses, and we are present. We are here now. And it's easy to make a present argument when you have yard signs, Meta, door hangers, flyers, vans all over the place and everything else. And I think we're doing a really good job of that. And Meta. So we're doing paid ads. We're doing the organic. Organic right now is once a day post.
Yeah, mostly once a day. Sometimes there's 2 posts a day.
That's basically kind of what we plan out. If you trip over something super cool, then you'll put it.
Exactly.
Describe the paid ads, because I did a very, again, you picked up on something, which is simple. Everything in this company is like, we literally break it down to what's the least we have to do for the most. My process was always, here's 10 images of exactly the stuff we want. We want to say we're local. We want to say we're present. There's free estimates, and we act really fast. And I have these 10 images, and as they do better, I just rotate them in a carousel. I make sure there's variety, things like that. Simple proposition. I just want to hit people in our core demo. I gave you the deputization of trying stuff. To describe some of the things you've been trying.
Yeah. So originally I kept the carousel with 10 images, but I also added on a video. Because like we talked about before, Meta is just pushing so much of the 15-second video.
We're getting rewarded for video.
Yes. A ton. And so that was what we did originally. We saw our cost per link click, which is kind of the metric that I've been monitoring. That went down a little bit. And then I just scratched the pictures. And changed the video a little bit, tried to make it a little bit faster. And then we saw that cost per link click go down again. And so now I've been messing with settings within Meta and adjusting, well, do we want to target video playthroughs, or do we still want to target
because it gives you lots of options. Like what do you want to do with this video? And so what we discussed, again, problem solution, we need cheaper leads. What we talked about is this strategy of scientific experimentation, which is you don't change everything and then see the result, because then what do you point to? So the thing that you've been doing really well is you've been finding like, hey, there's all these options for these things. Let's keep the general distribution the same. Let's keep even maybe the content the same, but let's change what's the goal of this. Is the goal website visits? Is it views? Is it watch throughs? What have you found with your experiment so far?
Yeah, so targeting for link clicks obviously has boosted our link clicks a ton.
Magically.
I haven't done it long enough to see an increase in leads. And so I think like after the last 3 weeks of experimenting I've done, I'm going to stay with link clicks just because that seems to be the best.
And 1 week is, there's one of these things where it's like, well, you need to do this for 6 months. And then it's like, listen, man, you're an apprentice with the marketing thing. We need to try some stuff. this is what, if I could have my way, it would be minimum of 3 months for an experiment to get the results, because then it would start capturing leads and estimates and probably even completed jobs as well.
Yep.
The problem is, this is where guys like you and me make our money, which is we're not going to be able to prove the results or see the results, but we can prove some immediate results, and then we go to the next one and prove and prove. And as long as we're in that down and to the right of cost,
yes,
you just keep moving that way. And then hopefully when we look back, overall, the cost of meta ads, the cost of meta leads, estimates, and completed jobs will follow that too. If it does not follow that, then we'll have to go back to the experiments and say, well, if we're getting cheaper clicks, why is this?
Yeah.
Then we have to use our human intelligence to go back. But that's been the interaction. Was there anything that surprised you with the meta stuff so far?
Honestly, how much those settings changed the results. Like, if I didn't have it set for link clicks, we would get 2 link clicks that week. If I have it set for link clicks, we get 4,200. And so if those are real people, that's great.
Yeah.
You hope it is. But if you set it for video playthroughs, the video playthroughs are quadruple what they would have normally been.
But then we found out with video playthrough, it's like, great, we got a bunch of people to whatever they call playthrough. Because a playthrough isn't somebody sat there for 42 seconds and just glued their cell.
Yeah.
There's some, it's different. It's different. But we didn't find a reciprocal, we didn't find anybody doing anything like with that, right? Like, we didn't find the follow through.
Yeah. It was just people watching it.
Our impression of the options that Meta gives you is they kind of do what they say they're going to do, right? Like, if you want people to watch a bunch of video, whatever they do, whether it's fake or not, we'll do that. If you want some clicks, they'll do that. So what you know of simple meta ads and marketing strategy is determined by how many jobs you have to do per year, the size of the job. Like, if we did $80,000 paint jobs, you wouldn't need to generate this much traffic, right?
No.
We do $5,100 paint jobs on average. We need to do 550 to 600 a year. We need traffic. Your advice as somebody who has never been in the trades before and has now apprenticeship in marketing, you're talking to thousands of other paint companies who are in their infancy out here. Everybody wants to hire a marketing company and do meta ads. I tell them to do it in-house because they have more time than money.
Yep.
What is your advice with organic and paid right now? And these are guys who need leads right now. They need leads, estimates, and completed jobs. Painting companies, what do you tell them? What have you learned?
I would get out there tomorrow and have a video on your project before it starts, as you're doing it, and once it's completed. Not just in the same place. You need to be moving with your phone. If you have like a drone like we have, it's awesome. But something vertical. Get music in the background and keep it under 15 seconds. And then you're targeting for link clicks. That's kind of our recipe.
What about location? Because if you just blast it off the internet, people in Dubai are going to see it. How do you focus that?
Yeah, so you're allowed to set areas that you're marketing into. We took our 5 top cities for completed jobs, and we're just overlaying those meta ads in these cities. And so we're pounding all these cities with flyers, meta ads, door hangers, pretty much everything.
And so we've taken, you haven't seen my 13 city plan yet. You haven't interacted with that. By the time you came on to apprentice under me with the marketing, we have already begun our 5 city plan. I have already started layering flyers. So basically what's interesting is that I have about the same marketing budget as I did the year previous. It was spread out over 13 zip codes, and now it's spread out over 5. And then we layered in a brand new form of I wanted to use the term aggressive. It's not aggressive marketing. No. It's proactive marketing, where we are making things happen by getting out there. So now we have our top 5 cities, which we're already omnipresent in. Our vans are everywhere. We have yard signs out there. They're already getting flyers. They have for 5 years. We then layer over the organic and the paid meta to focus on those things. So somehow they're going to trip over something here, right? And you know how this works. If you see a yard sign, you're driving home, you say, oh, Nick Slavik's painting that house. Magically, something hears that, and you might see a Nick Slavik ad later on. And then we're also, what's the last one? Flyers, meta, emails. We're also doing emails as well, too, to our previous clients, which are heavily concentrated in here. So we are super concentrating this. And I had a meeting with the head marketer from Titan Sprayers last night. And I'm going to try to recite this because I was trying to capture this information for you, because he is a 30-year professional in the marketing field that takes big stuff to market. It takes 4 channels and 8 touches to get a client to do something about it on average.
Mm-hmm.
He said if it's only one channel, it takes 20 touches. So you can imagine now we have 6 paid channels and 10 we have, let's say, six ways of marketing that we can actively go to a client, and 4 that are word of mouth, repeat, refer, that sort of stuff. And that interacts in there in a weird soup. But we have, call it between 6 and 10 channels in a very tight area. And every 6 weeks, somebody's getting a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
And so 4 channels, 8 touches. It doesn't take long for somebody in our 5 cities to accumulate 8 touches.
Yeah.
Especially when our vans are circulating and street team is out there. So I say all this because when we decide to do street team or not, and if your overall strategy is local, present, competent, and if you can prove that 8 touches over 4 channels will actually make somebody do something about it, now you can make a great argument for the street team.
Yeah.
You're adding a touch that doesn't exist.
Yep.
And you can focus that touch and control it. So now you get this, now you can make a great argument for it as well too. So having said all that, what do we do now?
Well, I think like we've seen the overlay is like increasing our leads and our cost per lead is decreasing.
Yep.
So
that's what I'm leading to, which is, I want you to reiterate, we don't have to give the exact numbers, but you have been tracking all these numbers and I've been verifying. What have we seen as a trend this year with our efforts?
They're working.
They're working. Yeah, they're absolutely working.
It's getting cheaper.
It's getting cheaper. And the initial number was 30% cheaper at the same time year over year. Now, as a manager of this, that's an outlier.
Yeah.
And I don't believe it. And we're going to go back and verify, but it could be right.
Yeah.
But it's probably not costing us 30% more.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what we know is that our efforts are being effective. Our cost per lead is going down year over year. We just need to overlay some intelligence on that to make sure that our previous year's numbers were accurate as well, because different people are tracking the numbers now, So, but otherwise our efforts are working. My goal this year was to change the timing, the spend, the amount of places we go, the concentration of touches, change our marketing to a light and bright, local and present and authoritative.
Yep.
We made the most bets. You came in, I wish you would have had one previous year with me, because you would have seen this monstrous shift in that. You're seeing the accumulation of me ideating for a year and asking all my best friends what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it is working really well. So if we got more leads with less money this year, I wouldn't be surprised. And that was the goal.
Not at all.
But it's really cool to see actual efforts of that thing. So you do email marketing as well too? Yep. That's pretty simple. What's the interval? What's your kind of strategy with that?
Yeah. So I started with, you had done Wednesday and Sundays when you would send out emails.
Yep. Based on no data, just a bunch of feelings.
I switched it to Tuesday and Thursday. And now I'm kind of bouncing it between Tuesday, Thursday and Tuesday, Sunday.
Yep.
I don't really have a ton of reason behind it. I'm just kind of doing it and then going to see what the result is.
Yep. We're getting fairly similar. There's the problem with marketing is there's not like, wow, we changed one thing and there's a black and white thing. It's like you get this mixed stuff and you're just like, well, but that was a holiday, or that was, and you're just like, you're putting asterisks to all these things. And there's typically not a clear, oh my God, we should absolutely do this.
Yeah.
So accumulation of data points and feelings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's turning out very well. I had a similar thing with email marketing. Again, this is why we talk about like, street team did not perform like our flyers, but flyers have been going on for 5 years.
Yeah.
Right. We have a good system. Email marketing, I sent out 2 emails a week for 6 months before I got one damn click in the entire thing. And then all of a sudden it actually, now we get like, I mean, it's not gangbusters, but for the price, it's one of the best forms of marketing.
It is the best.
Cost per lead and all that other stuff, because it costs so little to send an email.
Yeah.
And it's the time commitment is almost zero.
Yep.
But it's non-scalable. Like we got, I inputted 8,000 of our past clients and there's 3,500 that haven't unsubscribed. I can't double that.
Yeah.
You can't buy a personal email list. Yep. So it's like, we're kind of left with that. But yeah, that's been interesting. Other forms of marketing that you've been doing.
I mean, a little bit of the flyer design.
Flyer proof. Yep.
Now digging into church marketing a little bit.
Yeah, so this goes to the next thing, which is street team is winding down, and you guys, you and Jack, being the people you are, want to do another thing, right?
Yep.
Describe the another thing.
Yeah, so this winter, We're going to try to send out flyers, make calls, make emails to a bunch of churches in our area. Right now we have a list of 1,000, and we're going to try to get to them a few times, and hopefully we can help restore some really cool churches.
Yeah, it'd be cool. So we talked about, again, we started the strategy, which is how do we generate revenue in the winter? I've done experiments where I do $22,000 a month in flyers. We can't jazz up demand.
Mhm.
Demand goes down. And one thing I know from professional marketers is that you can bump demand, but not as much as you think, especially when demand is low. It's the cost per moving that demand gets so infinite.
Yep.
The cost per moving demand during the highest demand is actually very easy because people are kind of like open to the universe, which is completely counterintuitive. For 15 years, 16 years in this company, I have spent most of my marketing money in the winter because demand is low. And it was naturally like, well, great, spend more marketing here, get more jobs.
Yep.
That's a good way to go bankrupt. So we've completely switched our marketing to now spring when it's gangbusters anyway. We just capitalize on it more. Our cost per lead goes down, things like that.
Yep.
So we need to generate revenue in the winter. Sending more flyers out, from my experience, does not work. You guys are going to get active. You guys, we take the ethos of the street team, but to contacting people that we want to work for, churches. What other sort of possibilities did we talk about?
With the churches?
Well, besides churches.
For winter marketing?
Yeah.
Well, we talked about maybe getting into healthcare.
Yep.
Local businesses, like municipal buildings.
Cities and things like that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of options too. If we get into this church marketing and it's like, well, actually, we're not seeing the results we want.
Yep.
There's so many other ways we can go with the same strategy.
Yeah, it's focusing. And we had a great philosophical conversation before where, again, this is not dissimilar to Street Team, which is I did a bunch of tests for you guys this last year with church marketing. I purchased a list of churches to fast track the sort of like gathering of the contacts. I did some flyers, I did some emails, and we actually got estimates and stuff back from this. So it was not a dissimilar result to Street Team last year when I did this. That said, listen, what we proved is that if we do something, there is a result. Yeah. And so there's something there to go on. It's like fishing in a pond for the first time. We got a couple bites, like let's explore this further. There's something in there. We don't know how good it is. And so what we're going to do now is say, well, in the world of we can do everything, we could say, well, I already have this infrastructure for churches and it's like passion projects for us. And so let's do that. And so what is your strategy this winter then with these churches?
Yeah. So first, the idea is to soften the churches up. We're going to hit all these churches with a flyer.
Yep.
And then following that flyer, Jack and I are going to be making calls to all of the churches on the list. And these churches are going to be hit a few times throughout the winter with the flyers. So
layer touches.
Exactly. Yep. And so we'll be calling them. The emails we have will be attached to email campaigns. And then hopefully when we're calling people, they're interested. And then we can capture those emails and add those onto the campaigns as well.
So in the theory of 4-8-20, 4 touches 8 times, or 1 channel 20 times, we have flyers, emails, calls. Was there a 4th channel we're going to hit them with?
I believe it's just those 3 right now.
3 for now.
Yep.
So if it's 4 and 8, it's probably 3 and 9 or 3 and 10. So we're probably going to have to touch some of these between 8 and 10 times.
Yes.
Before we get now, some obviously are just like, oh my God, we're about ready to do a capital campaign and we're getting our church. That always happens. It happens with clients. So we're going to have to be, if we do believe the 4-8-20, we're going to have to overlay that. And again, you don't have to expand the ways you hit them, but maybe a call a week. Increase those touches that way. So we already laid out. We're getting really good at this, which is these projection spreadsheets, which is knowns and unknowns, and then we make some decisions. And we narrowed it down to 3 variables that's going to make this. I gave you guys a revenue goal, and with that, we have so much data between here's the cost of a lead, here's the cost of an estimate, this is how many, this is the success ratios. We narrowed it down to 3 variables that are going to make or break something like this. And number 1 was. Do you remember what they were?
The first one was our lead to estimate conversion.
Yeah, the success ratio between you guys calling somebody and
them actually
agreeing to an estimate. Yeah, so it's that. And that is something you guys control wholly. And we messed with the numbers up and down. And that's the easiest thing for you guys to change. We also have success ratios from previous client reactivation, and we're trying to figure out a success ratio. With my previous clients, when you call somebody that we've worked for that knows and loves us, 5 to 7% of the time we'll schedule another estimate, which means you make 100 calls to previous clients, you get 5 to 7 estimates. I counseled you guys to not expect 7% because it's like these are strangers, right? So we landed on a number much smaller than that. But again, we are using our collective wisdom now to determine some projections. The other two variables were the success ratios of the estimators, right?
Yes.
So we have very good data about they're probably never going to do less than this. They're probably never going to do more than this. And when we played with that number, that was a harder thing to move because you have less things to move. It has to move. We figured that we assumed a low success ratio for you guys converting from lead to an estimate, which would be normal. We realized that if you guys had to hit your revenue goal, they needed to sell 90% of the estimates that they went on. So really quickly, we were like, well, let's try another variable. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then the third one was average job size, right? Yep. And that was honestly the biggest one for me because we can look at our residence, which is $5,130, and we can look at exterior on average, which is $7,800. But we look at our commercial, and it's $30,000. Is it commercial or residential? And see, that's where we make our bones. It's like, is this a combination of those? Will the average job size go down? Will it go up? And so the easiest way to you guys hit your revenue goal this winter is average job size. You guys don't control that. That's probably the thing you control the least because you can talk to your estimators and you can like jazz them up a little bit or do some other things to like work with them. Average job size is it's not even up to the estimator sometimes, So the easiest thing to control, the success ratio of you guys actually getting the estimate so it trickles down through a success ratio. And we're going to find out how it works. So I gave you guys a goal. I gave you a potential reward if you hit that goal. And I guess we're going to track it and see.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's very exciting. And it also keeps us all connected during the school year. And we'll kind of round out the conversation. But like one of the things that's most interesting to me is that of the 8 areas of life that I'm serious in, the 8th one, the bottom one, is connecting with guys like you and Jack, giving you experiences that I wish I would have had at that age, things that are formative, things that teach you about humanity and teach you real skills. I have a bachelor's in business, 2 forms of accounting. One of the forms of accounting is managerial accounting, and I wasn't taught to job cost. Literally, all that managerial accounting is that. I was 2 classes away from getting marketing minors because, again, with a business degree, you just naturally get a bunch of marketing.
Take a bunch of those classes.
I didn't learn any of this. And I don't know if I was supposed to. I'm not saying I got a bad education, but none of the things that I have to do in my day-to-day job as an entrepreneur, there was a template for in college. We did all sorts of discussions about Enron and how that went bad and corporate greed. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm not a corporate. I don't have 500 employees. Like I just need jobs next week, So what I'm hoping that you guys experience here is like this beautiful practical thing where it's like we can't rely on the voodoo and the black magic of marketers. Like this is where marketing hits the road, which is you need to actually sell something, And in any job you're going to have after this, whether it's with me or not, you go work for Titan Sprayers under my friend Mike Collins, who gave me this great information. You got to sell sprayers, man. Like you could say, well, we're just going to do 2 years of brand recognition. He's like, no, you aren't. We need to sell sprayers, man. Like we're all going to go bankrupt. So that's what I'm hoping that you and Jack get. And we've been doing training Jack in estimating project management. He does the coordination side well. He knows job costing better than 98% of all paint business owners in the country. My hopes for you is when we're done with this is that you will have a more rigorous marketing education than even professional marketers at this point. And I think based on this, you got a good head start, man. Like you
go in the right direction.
This is the nuts and the bolts and the theory and backing things up 2 ways. Final thoughts, final impressions. Did I miss anything that you do? You capture a ton of after images as well.
I do get a bunch of after images.
Content was the other biggest thing, which is great. Hey, we got meta ads, we got this and that. Completely useless if you don't have good content. And so teaching you the voice of content, how we do it, and you've been trying all sorts of new things. I capture things randomly, and I squeeze every drop of things out of them. I go to a job site, I get 32 images, I can get 16 bits of marketing out of that. You've been out there doing different forms of capturing and content. What have they been?
Yeah, so a lot of drone stuff. Because that's our new dynamic. Like that was kind of the idea. behind this summer was
Yep.
creating something different.
Yep.
And so those are the opposite of going out to a site where you take 32 pictures and you get 16 forms of content. You go out to a site, you take 30 pictures and videos, you're probably going to be able to use 2 of them.
Yep.
Because that drone's going to catch a gust of wind and it's going to shake and it's going to look awful.
Yep.
Or like there's a lot more.
The damn drone shadows in everyone, you know?
The drone shadows, yeah. But yeah, and then when you're trying to create the perfect video, and if you want to make it into a transition from a before to an after while you're flying a drone, the drone can't transition from here to there or else it's going to look terrible. So it's a lot of trial and error, and then you're watching videos on your phone and you try to replicate that on a different day.
Yeah,
so,
and you're in a 3-dimensional space and trying to have continuity with everything. And because it was new stuff is fun. And I initially told you, like, go from an interesting angle and just give me a slow pan, just something. All you have to, like, if we're playing with the algorithm, we're in the attention game. And we just need to make somebody stop for a half second. That's literally all it takes. We just need you. It's not different than TikTok, which is I'm not even into, hostas. But if there's an interesting picture of somebody doing something with a hosta, you pause for a second. That's all we're doing. And it's the intention economy now that we're in. And so, we're still developing the brand voice. We know what it is. And I think over the winter, my big impetus as the manager is to now make it all consistent. We want everything. We want things where if it's a drone video or a picture or me walking from my van to the shop saying something, we have to be like, oh, that's a Nick Slavik image, and it's pretty simple. We have some brand hallmarks. We have beige, we have light, we have humans, we have, we have white vans. Like there's a lot of easy hallmarks that we have. Now the thing is, like, we need to see how consistent we can make this. And I think that even elevates that brand.
Yeah,
and the click-throughs. And, when it's understandable and consumable, people will more readily make a decision. And I've seen a lot of this in the contracting world where people are confused or something doesn't make sense. It leads to inaction. If you make it easy and it's easily consumable, hey, there's this beige person who has a light picture. There's a link right here to click for an estimate. Yeah, let's just try that.
Yeah.
Last question. You're a marketing major. When you left high school, you decided to pursue marketing. What did you think marketing was? And is it different now?
Yeah. So honestly, in high school, I did a ton of graphic design.
Yeah.
And I liked that. And I thought it was interesting. And I liked being creative with that. I did it for all the sports teams. And I actually won an award from the Minnesota State High School League for a design I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it was like, I'm kind of good at this thing. I don't really know what else I want to do. But there's no money if you just do graphic design.
Dude, especially with Figma and all this other stuff now.
Yeah, it's all going to be AI.
If you
And so I was like, well, what is a world where I can combine that with business? Because I know I'm good with numbers and stuff like that too. And I was like, UMD offers marketing and graphic design as a combined program. And so went into that. Yeah. And now it's primarily marketing focused for me. Yeah. But I still get to use design for designing a flyer or door hanger or whatever it is. So
it's a huge skill because you've seen me. I've reached the limits of what I can do effectively and easily. I messed with Canva for a while, and that's like the pedestrian sort of stuff. Like, it gives you a little more capabilities than just whatever Google image thing is, but it's not what you do. And so you've seen me. I think, I gave you my entire marketing folder. I think you've probably seen me do the most with the least with all that stuff, which is between the videos and the stuff. I made them pretty consistent. I made them pretty okay, but I have reached the limits of that. I don't have a lot of videos. I certainly don't have drone videos, and I don't have some of the interesting things that you've created. So that's been a fun thing to incorporate the new stuff in there. And your ability to technically work through that is not a hindrance. It's actually a huge benefit to all that stuff. So in that we don't have to wait for Figma to do something. We have control of it, and we don't have to have a third party do any of it. We don't have to send it to a designer, Whereas you'd seen some of my logos. I had great partners before, but I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. I needed a vector file. I don't know what the hell that is. So I had to pay a guy $180 to turn the thing that I had already into a vector file. Now, 15 minutes, you do that, So it's that technical ability. It's like me owning a paint business and knowing how to paint. That's not a detriment. I'm a superpower to my people. Same thing with you with that sort of thing too. So you've had 1 year of college courses. Describe some of the things you've learned. Have you even dabbled in the marketing courses yet?
So I've never taken a marketing class.
So it's all the whatever they call them, basic ones. Or,
Yep. The generals.
All the generals. Yep. All the generals.
So I took a business law class, and that was the only thing that I took in college
super
where it felt like I was learning something useful so far. So that I thought was cool. But yeah, everything else there has been biology or something like that where it doesn't really apply.
But this year you're going to start.
This year I've got a marketing class, 2 design classes, statistics, and IT and business. So working with Google Sheets and Excel and that kind of stuff.
So heck yeah.
All useful things.
Yeah, you got to develop skill in the numbers and the spreadsheets too. So it'll be curious. That's an interesting thing because typically you get the wild creatives who literally can't keep a schedule and couldn't add to save their lives, or you have the nerdy guys who couldn't begin to pick a color. And you have this like really interesting combination of this ability to do both. So I'm really curious to see how you interact with that. And if you go a little more towards the hardcore number business or a little more towards the graphics or like where life takes you with that. So that'll be fun.
Yep.
But we got a lot of fun things to do here. So it's going to be fun to explore that stuff together. Let's see. If somebody asked you in college, what is marketing? How do you describe marketing? Final question.
I would say how you are like getting your brand to be represented publicly in order to capture leads.
Yep. In order to get opportunities for the company.
Yeah.
Yep. That's there's professional marketers. I one of my favorite podcasts is the Olive Holdings podcast, and they have Nate Streeter, who is their marketing manager, who controls the marketing for 20 painting companies across the United States.
That's crazy.
Through a central dashboard. And he's been a huge mentor to me and guiding me in a lot of my marketing strategy. And he said basically the exact same thing, which is like it's how you present yourself out there so that you have opportunities for the company like that. How you go to market. So yeah, that's sometimes marketers and paint business owners can forget about that second sentence, then creating opportunities.
Yeah,
a lot of people mistakenly think it's, well, do you have a puppy in your logo? And what colors do you pick? And it's like, dude, you're not even Have we logo versus actual other stuff? What is the ratio of times that we, spend on those things?
On logos, it's pretty minimal. It's
0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I asked you to make the inside of the Nick Slavik not orange and bronze. And after that, we've moved on to how do we go to market?
Yep.
And that's literally how it is. Yeah. Not t-shirts, not anything else. Like we've had you do some fun logos that we're going to roll out in some swag, but other than that, that's just fun projects.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, man. Appreciate this. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
You're going to have a blast in college. And guys, master's class on Street Team coming up. These guys, I'm downloading all the data now. I'm going to put it in a new form, and I'll be traveling the country next year with a lot of the things we learned from Street Team, from having a marketing apprentice for the first time, and a whole bunch of other stuff, data analytics. The entire thesis of 2025 was going to be that something's changed. I feel like leads and sales are going to drive everything. We've refocused on those things. We're getting insanely good results, and I can't wait to then take this many quarters of data and go out in the master's classes this next year. So Mason will be continuing. We'll have his Doge revenue generating efforts from this winter with churches also listed as well. And it's going to be a fun discussion as the economy continues to change. So, all right, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now we got to keep working on our website. That's right. You've been doing website design too. So yeah, we're about to hammer down on some final revisions on the new website. So, all right, everybody. Appreciate you. We'll see you next time.